Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Veil. I am Adina, your gracious co-host today, as the spirits are the host. Welcome to Beyond the Veil. Happy Sunday to all of you. God bless you. God bless everybody who's participating in the Crown of Success ceremony. It's actually still chugging along, y'all. Still a burning. And so maybe by tonight or in the morning it'll be done. But for the most part, I think the heavy lifting is done. So shout out to all of you who participated. This was the biggest group ceremony I've done to date. On the spring solstice. Even if you didn't participate in the Crown of Success, a way that you can utilize the energy of the spring solstice growing up to the summer, where you should see a lot of the culmination of your efforts, is to start making your efforts, start planting new seeds into the soil to sprout up in the spring, leading towards the summer. Start taking action, very, very much Aries energy. So start being active, taking action, taking initiative, starting new endeavors. This is the best time to make a New Year resolution and actually do them. Better than the winter. The winter is when you should be going over everything that you didn't complete throughout the year, and preparing to make new efforts and new initiatives towards those endeavors in the spring. So that's how you can utilize the spring solstice energy, even if you didn't participate in the Crown of Success. But the Crown of Success is going to give you guys some extra energy, and I'm excited about it. So I want to look into the Carters and see how they feel about Kanye. I know I'm a little late, but while I'm working the ceremony, I'm usually focused on working the ceremony, and I don't like to do public readings while I'm working the ceremony, because I have no idea who's watching me, and not everybody who's watching me is a kind and kindred soul and is standing in agreement. And so I had to do that while I was doing the heavy lifting of the ceremony, but better late than never. Here we go. I seen all the Carters kind of came out with their own subliminals. So let's see. And even if Jay-Z and Beyonce didn't address it directly, the rumors that sprouted out about potential lawsuits, Miss Tina and her joke of the day, Solange changing her profile picture, that was all of them communicating in a concerted effort, kind of, I believe. I'm just trying to think of how I'm going to approach this reading. Okay. Most High Mother and Father God, please allow me to conjure up the collective energy of the Carter family. Beyonce, Jay-Z, Solange, Miss Tina, their team, their camp, their entourage, everybody involved in the Carter empire, the Carter camp. Spirit, please allow me to conjure up all of their collective energy when it comes to Kanye West, or at least Beyonce and Jay-Z. Spirit, please allow me to conjure up the collective souls and spirits of Beyonce and Jay-Z as it relates to Kanye West. Oh, the mama bear. I see in my mind, mama bear raging like a lion. Papa bear isn't happy either, but mama bear, a ferocious lion. And I'm talking about Queen Bee, not Queen Bee's mama bear. Spirit, how do Beyonce and Jay-Z feel about Kanye West right now? He has made some very, 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 very not nice public allegations about their children, and whether they're true or not, that wasn't his business to tell. How do Jay-Z and Beyonce feel about Kanye West and his recent shenanigans that he involved them and their family? Oh, Kanye, you've upset the whole hive. You've upset the world. But I'm going to say whether what he said about their children are true or not, because in the past, early last year, maybe late 2023, I did a typed out reading on my page on YouTube. It's on my posts. I used to type out readings. I used to just take a picture of the spread and then type it out when I didn't feel like recording. And I did a reading on Jason Lee, and I mentioned some information that he was kind of holding over the Carter's head. And this is before any of that became public. And I think I mentioned having to do with their children was one of the things. And so I have seen certain things about their children. I even had a dream one time about, I think I mentioned this on one of my lives. Maybe it might have been one of my members only lives, but I had a dream that it's like it wasn't my dream to have. I was just there observing. But I was in a school gymnasium, auditorium, something it looked like where little kids have a recital or some type of school play or something like that. And I was backstage behind the curtain looking out into the crowd. Before I peered out into the crowd, I heard a lot of screaming. Now, Blue Ivy was on the stage, so I believe this was her recital that I was at in my dream. And before I peeped out into the crowd, because I entered the dream backstage, the first thing I saw was the little girls. I saw Blue Ivy, and I heard this screaming from a child, just just incessant yelling, screaming. And I peeked behind the curtain, and I saw in my dream, because I'm just talking about a dream, I saw Beyonce and I saw Jay-Z sitting front row in the audience in a crowd of family and parents. And I saw a young child sitting on Beyonce's lap, and they were having a fit. I mean, and they were having a hard time calming them down. Beyonce and Jay-Z were, and they quickly got up and left out of the gym or the hall that they were in, because the child that was sitting on Beyonce's lap was causing a disruption. That's a dream that I had. Now, I'm just going to say that, but I had that dream maybe last year sometime too. Anyways, doesn't matter what they said. Everybody in that camp is upset about what Kanye West said about the kids, for sure. I don't believe that they are planning to allow Kanye West to get away with this. Challenges the children, the kids, and them being in reverse, having some challenges maybe. That's in a challenging position. Obviously, we know that. I mean, not saying we know that about the children, but we know what this situation is with them feeling this way about Kanye and why. In the recent past, Kanye went on a rampage and started quickly firing out messages out of nowhere. It's like they just came out of the sky, out of nowhere, about all kinds of stuff. And while they seem to have come out of nowhere, there's some truth to them, because there are sprouts of growth on these wands. Nothing fake about it. Nothing fake about something sprouting up out of the ground. Nothing fake about nature. He was definitely trying to start something. Rattle something. Exactly what he did. That's exactly what he was trying to do. Yes, I was just trying to adjust my wig because it looked weird. What he did was what he was trying to do. He was sending shots, but I don't think all of them were lies. I'll come and look into that though. Even though I don't agree with airing out, well, even though I'm a psychic medium, business that people haven't made public. Like, I've never done a public reading on the health of Beyonce and Jay-Z's children. Now, I'm doing this reading because that was brought up into the public by someone else. And this reading isn't on whether they're healthy or not. But I don't agree with, just randomly waking up one day and being like, you know what, I got tea, let me spill it. This person did this person did this person did this person is this person is this. But I'm not in the seat of judgment. I'm just in the seat of peeking in and seeing what's going on. This is like an unspoken secret. So it's not like he revealed anything shocking, which is why in the near future, this is a tower moment in reverse. And because nobody wants to publicly make Beyonce and Jay-Z's kids a thing in that way, even though it's not being picked up because I believe, in my opinion, it's like, okay, but why do you need to say that? So it's not a tower moment upright because it's like, what, Kanye, what, Beyonce and Jay-Z's children, something might be wrong with them? What? It's not like that. People didn't receive it that way. They were like, Kanye. Now, you know better than this. And it will continue to be treated that way. And I agree with that stance. Let's not. You guys can make all of their other salacious tea a thing, but let's not. Because in my opinion, the entirety of humanity is on the spectrum. We're on various ends of the spectrum. I am a realist, and so I like to say I'm on the fun end. You guys, we're all on there. We're all on there. I see you all as various rays of a spectrum. We all are a part of a spectrum. We're all made in various colors. Nobody should be. That's why I have a different opinion about mental health disorders, even bipolarism. Because it's all saying you don't conform. The way you think, the way you behave doesn't conform. If someone decides to wake up one day and air out all of their intrusive thoughts, who's to say that they're sick? That's their business, and maybe they just aren't like the norm. But I think diagnosing people with those blanket diseases is a way of saying they're just not like everybody else, so let's ostracize them. When I think there's faults and beauty to all of us, including people hurting to a normal society horror mentality. I think that's the boring end of the spectrum. That's why I say I'm on the fun end. Because I'm like, hey, we're all on there, but you guys think you're normal, and you guys have just been dulled down and controlled. And what's the fun in that? What's the fun in that? And I think that's kind of where Kanye comes from. Let me wake up in one day and start some shit, because everybody thinks I'm crazy, but I may be crazy. I know I kind of am, but I ain't all the way crazy. So let me wake up and start some shit. I don't think he just thought to do it from the hell of things. So he was triggered by something, but that's not crazy. That's just somebody that is completely different than everybody else. And we may not understand their motive, their way of thinking, because we don't understand their way of thinking. They think differently. They operate on a different wavelength and spectrum than us. But that's not to say just because they're on a different spectrum doesn't mean we're not on a spectrum. It just means we're on a different one. And because I can stand in the seat of both sides, I say I'm on the fun side because I can always see both. I'm just here watching it all go down and reporting live. And I think that's fun for me, being an observer. I mean, the problem is Kanye, they feel like it's unprovoked and they don't publicize their younger children for a reason. And everybody knows that. Which is why, Kanye, you didn't have to do that. Something that we all collectively don't bring up, and even the media doesn't. Even though I believe this means that a lot of people, even though this is just a page, and this is in my mind Jason Lee, because I said before he wants to be the first one to spill that tea, but somebody else already did it kind of publicly and took it away from him. I think all the exposés of Diddy and Jay-Z and stuff, that took away a lot of his ability to hold something over their heads. But this is something that I think Jason Lee wanted to utilize in the past against them, but didn't. A lot of media people did, but when he used to say that he had tea on them, I think this is what that was. Again, I believe a lot of people, the Wheel of Fortune, a lot of people that had the ability to turn this wheel so that this is something that everybody could have talked about. This could have been a thing a long time ago. Collectively, nobody wanted to be the one to turn that wheel. Nobody wanted to be the one to say, I'll put it out there than everybody else might have. But collectively, a lot of sources had this tea. But that's not something that everybody wants to talk about. And that's why collectively everybody is like, Kanye, okay, talk about a lot of things, but not that. Even though this Five of Wands is in reverse, their whole camp is hot like fire. Five of Wands. But they're not outwardly coming out and saying, Kanye, F you, thug life, bitch. Brr, 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 brr. They're not doing that. Even though Solange, speaking of, Solange did post a picture with as her profile picture on one of the platforms. So I take that back. They're doing it in a passive aggressive way, but they're not coming out and saying, this is Sparta, Kanye. They're making jokes. They're changing their profile pictures. They're letting other people let them know where they stand. But whatever you was trying to do, Kanye, you did that. You did that. Whatever you said you did that. Kanye mentioned threats of violence. He mentioned, yeah, go ahead, take me out, Jay-Z, something like that. And in my Kanye reading, this was in his hopes and fears upright. So he knows that doing this could, but remember what I also said, this is kind of suicide, unaliving by not giving a F, saying F it. And I think something that Kim did, this whole thing with Kim in North being his trigger always, I think it makes him feel very hopeless. Like, F it, I've lost now. Losing North in this way, seeing that Kim does have all the power. I think he tried to assert himself, but Kim showed that she literally has the power and he's not needed. He lost. And so I feel like he's in one of his modes where he used to talk about feel like unaliving himself every day. He's back at that moment, I believe. And he's like, F it. Which is why I'm not in the seat of judgment against Kanye, because everything he's saying has some truth to it. It's just that he's saying it because he knows what the consequences are and he doesn't care anymore. He feels like he lost the only thing that he lives for, and that's North. And I said that the first time I ever read a celebrity, you guys go back, it's a Pray for Kanye reading back in 2021 or 2022. Hopes and fears, nothing. This is a man who is in this moment, I believe, doesn't care. Either way, doesn't care either way. A hopeless man. And I think the Carters know that. They mad, but they know. Oh, but Kanye, there will be a trigger pulled about them kids. Despite what you going through, because if you want it, if you want the smoke, we always try to be gracious with you by just cutting you off. I think that's how they stand. We try to distance ourselves from you because we know what you're going through. We just don't want that energy around us because it's self-sabotaging energy. This is why they cut you off. And that was them being kind or gracious and compassionate towards you. They could have taken offense with you a long time ago, but they didn't. But about them kids, if you don't give a F, they don't give. If you don't give a damn, they don't give a F. That's what this is. Don't start no shh, won't be no shh. If you don't give a damn, we don't give a. Hey, if you don't give a, we don't give a. Hey, if you don't give a, we don't give a. Hey, if you don't give a, we don't give a. Don't start no, won't be no. Don't start no, won't be no. Don't start no, won't be no. Kanye, whatever you wanted, whatever smoke you wanted, they said, here's the flame. Just saying. And you know Jay-Z got them boys on call. You know he do and he know he do. We know they do. I don't think they wanted to go that route with you, Kanye. They didn't. Oh, Kanye. If you want it, then you got it. If you want it, then you got it. Let's start with that Page of Wands. I see Jay-Z with a cigar just standing over maybe his backyard or a view over his home, just in silent contemplation, like, man, it's sad, you know. Really ain't want to have to take it there. Nice glass of some kind of expensive French or Italian wine that nobody's heard of but the family that made it. It's sad, Joe. I ain't want to have to, step back into this life. You see how I've been fighting this other stuff through my legal team, I ain't want to have to resort back to violence, but if violence want to resort back to me, then it's Marcy. It's Brooklyn. Man, really ain't want to have to take it there, but I guess it's my last one, before I really retire, Jay-Z did not want to have to resort back to his old methods directly. He been liking to let other people, let the Lord. He been moving a different kind of way, a real upper elite way. But there might be some hood boogerish stuff brewing for you, Kanye. Some real hood booger stuff. Some hood booger stuff. He might handle this the old street way. And behind it is Big Mama B. That's why Jay-Z having a hard time with this, because he don't want to have to resort back to this. But Beyonce is like, if you don't, I will. I'll go over there right now with the blick. I ain't taking Julius. I ain't taking nobody. We ain't sending nobody. I'll do it. I'll do it. I swear in my mind, they holding Beyonce back right now because she wants rain and thunder. She wants the underworld to descend from the skies upon Kanye. That's how mad she is. If you don't do it, nigga, I'll do it. She might have did a line. In my mind, she might have, because you know their eyes, they be beaming. I'm trying to keep a straight face while doing this because I need to give the energy that I see in my spirit. What you gonna do, Hove? What you gonna do about our children? About our children? Remember her scenes in Obsession? But this is the real deal. About our children? You ain't seen nobody like me. She's beyond calling the spirits. She feel like the spirits ain't enough at this point. The only thing that is good enough is her showing up at his door with the fofo. No more Mrs. Nice Guy from Beyonce. No more Mrs. Nice Guy with Beyonce. Jay-Z, if you don't, I will. Yeah, you leave me no choice. Beyonce, man, she on one of her moves, man. You leave me no choice. If I do it, it'll be mercy on Marcy. If B do it, you know they say everything's bigger in Texas. Got a big problem with Big B. Let it be me, not B. Jay-Z said I'll do it because they can't ignore this. I don't know what they're going to do. Let me look into the Empress in reverse because I want to look at what Beyonce wants to be done. Why is the Empress here in reverse behind Jay-Z having to do something? I don't know what that something is, but it's something. We'll see. Beyonce is the one who want to call them people. She wants to let the Jews, I believe, do it. She wants him to have a final moment. She wants to get the okay. She wants them to okay it. I think Jay-Z is like, let me handle a punishment, but not that, because he got a lot of stuff going on and they get it. They get it. But you cross the line with them and it has to be dealt with. Beyonce wants to go to the elites and sanction. They are elite themselves. They could do it, but they do have to ask because Kanye is still profitable to other parties that be, there's other parties, the Kardashians have to okay it. There's a lot of parties that have to be in on that. But I believe that's what Beyonce wants to be done. She just wants the elites to make it happen so that it's clean on behalf of the Carters. Ooh, you better hope Jay-Z comes up with something a little bit more gracious than what Beyonce wants, Kanye. I want to look into the hopes and fears because that's them being like, Kanye, we get it, but you crossed the line with our kids. Kanye's saying, F it. And they know that, but why bring our kids into it? We know that you don't care. We know that he doesn't give a F anymore. And we know why he doesn't. It's why we kind of just cut him off and start ignoring him and turning the other way. Because they get it. They get what happened. They get everything. They get it. They get it. They get the 5150 after the first time that he went on a rampage and included the Carters and he went right into a 5150. They started giving him the Britney treatment. They get that. That's why they're just like, we're going to, let them. That was their first saying, you played with us. And not saying that they are the only ones who sanction it, but that was a situation where the conglomerate said, let's handle Kanye. 5150 him, make him loopy so that he doesn't do this, but he fights. Remember I said his soul is still intact, even though even he thought he was broken. His soul is still intact, so he still shoots arrows that have truth to them. That's what they wanted to stop him from doing with the original 5150 and the continued intervention of his mental healing and his emotional healing. They don't want him to heal. Now Beyonce is saying, I believe Beyonce is saying, now we got to go to the next and final step. Nine of Wands in reverse. I believe that's Kanye saying, I don't care. Because he feels like they've already in some way start utilizing and monetizing the one person that he lived for, and that's Northwest. He feels like she's already lost, already being used and pimped out the way Chris pimped out her girls, allegedly, like he said. And I believe that that's happening. Maybe not in an actual way, but Kanye understands how the industry works, how the game goes, and he knows it's only a matter of time. All right, let me look at the world in the present position for the Carters. Kanye has to be stopped because he's, again, you know, coming against everybody, everybody. And they tried to, I think the world in reverse means the last plan that everybody was involved in did not work. Drugging him up and permanently incapacitating him did not work. It didn't work. He's run off the rails again, and the Carters are angry. I think this is also Jay-Z trying to practice restraint. But again, they keep their children not in the public, out of the limelight, to avoid these accusations in the first place. Ever since they were born. Rumi gets a little bit more, you know, camera time. They say Sir doesn't like the cameras. I believe that's true, but I believe there's something more to it, and that's okay. I won't say anything more than that. Past position, though, with this Eight of Wands, and I won't even do the challenging position, the Fool in reverse, because that's the kids. And anyways, the Eight of Wands, though, because I said that there's some truth. Kanye is speaking about insider things that he knows he's not supposed to speak about. He's done it before. And there was truth to it. It's just that it's supposed to stay veiled and hidden. This is a lot of darkness. This is manipulation of the system. This is rituals and sacrifices that everybody has to do. He's kind of trying to expose everything. He is trying to expose things. He is. He always has been, regardless of him still being a part of it. I believe it was for North. And then he gets in these episodes where he feels like he's lost all hope, including North. And he has nothing to live for. But the things that he says, they happen. This is more than just rituals, magic, suicide. Sacrifices. This is, conservatorships, 5150s, how things are manipulated, how energies and outcomes are manipulated, practical magic and otherwise. But I think Kim was being a little bit more benevolent upon him when it came to the children in the past. There was some benevolence that she showed. In the past, they were closer. They had a different relationship. She was more nurturing and open. Now, though, they're divorced. She's wielding her legal power over him. And so I'm not sure what the Carters will do, but they'll do something because they're not going to let this go unpunished. Good luck to you, Kanye, even though this seems to be what you wanted. So good luck. Love you guys. Bye.